The Basic Education Department says it is satisfied with the ongoing nationwide vaccination of teachers and support staff. Over 185,000 employees have now received the single-dose Johnson & Johnson jab. Despite the COVID-19 vaccines now being rolled out to teachers across the country, some remain concerned about the amount of time that is being lost in the classroom due to the impact of the virus and the lockdown restrictions. To unpack President Ramaphosa's address, we are now joined via Zoom by Basil Manuel, who is the Executive Director of the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa. Mr. Manuel, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Pleasure. Good to see you again.
Likewise. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, Mr. Manuel. First of all, what's your reaction to President Ramaphosa's address with regards to the restrictions that he has imposed and how it'll affect the education sector?
The education sector was consulted on this. You'd remember just a few weeks ago, NAPTOSA was very clear. Were not and are still not in favor of the summary closure of schools. However, given this new variant and its impact particularly on high schools, and secondly, of course, given that social gatherings and social functions have also been put on hold and banned, that makes it easier for youngsters to be released from school because they are a little safer than what they would be if they could continue gathering. So we remain concerned about losses in teaching. We remain concerned about our teaching year, but lives first. And of course, this is one of those that we can't do without. Now, whether it is extending the holidays or just shifting the holidays forward will remain to be told by the minister in the next day or so, because we will be meeting to thrash out a few things, because the peak will not be the same in every province, of course.
So when you say you were consulted about this, has any further consultations been made with regards to how the lost time will be recovered? Because the education sector still hasn't fully recovered from the devastating impact of COVID-19 of last year.
Well, yes, consultation has been very regular, and I've got to give credit to both the minister and the DG about this. However, recovery is very difficult. We know that the primary schools are due back in the new term. Now we don't know what the impact of this particular level is going to be on that return. We will thrash that out in this week. The secondary schools are a far more difficult one, given that so many youngsters have fallen ill in the high schools. At first, people thought it was just for sport. It turned out not to be. It was bigger than just sport. And we've seen a continuous rise. And they will continue with the itinerant attendance. And we're going to have to think another plan. The plan of online teaching hasn't worked because it's not reaching more than a few percentage of the population. The largest percentage don't have access. Even the television programs aren't helping. So there is a crisis there, and the crisis will continue for a little while longer whilst we butt heads and try and sort this out. But that there has to be a catch-up is a given. Remember, teachers are teaching extra time. They are doing the weekends. They are doing the holidays. But that is not enough. We need normalization. And hopefully the vaccination drive is going to begin the process of normalizing.
And speaking of the vaccination drive, which is well underway, the department has clarified that it has set a target of inoculating about 582,000 teachers within 10 days. And we are still yet to see whether the department will be able to meet that target. And we know at this point that vaccinations still remain voluntary and nobody's forced to take those vaccinations. So what's your position with regards to those teachers who do not want to take those vaccinations as a result of a multiplicity of reasons? Could be that, they're not comfortable. It could be that some of the teachers are indulging in some of the myths associated with the vaccinations.
We are targeting those teachers that are falling prey to the myths. About 15% of our teachers fall in that category on the basis of our survey together with the other teacher unions. And then there are those hardline anti-vaxxers, and we don't know if we will convince them. But the teacher unions as a collective together with the department, we are flooding the teachers with information. The Department of Health is helping us. We are being helped by various other organizations, and we are giving them the real science behind this. And that is all we can do. Some people are saying, I'm just not ready. I'll try again later when my age group comes around. For them, we are saying, okay, but remember, you have now been bumped up to the front of the queue. Take advantage of it. If you miss this opportunity, you may have to wait much, much longer. But it is a major job convincing the doubters.
And convincing those doubters. And what if they're not convinced? Can you categorically confirm on record that no punitive or disciplinary measures will be instituted against those?
Simply, it can't just happen that you will be disciplined for not taking the vaccine. However, let's take a scenario where you do have comorbidities, for example, and you have been off on leave at this stage. Now, your employer has given you the opportunity to make you safer so that you can come back. Can you still demand that you should be off on leave? Now, we are doubting that that will happen. We've heard noises from the department, but we'll go to the ELRC and we will deal with this there, because it would be an unfair thing if you want both sides of the coin. So if that is punitive, then, well, then maybe that is what is coming. But that is not the type of punitive that I think you were talking about. Dismissals or people just being set aside because they didn't take. Now, that can't happen, not in South Africa at any rate. So let's wait and see what happens, and we certainly will defend people's right to refuse.
All right, Mr. Basil Manuel, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Simpiwe.